Welcome back. By 2035, electric will be the only species of new car we can buy under current government plans. But just how green are electric cars? And will they really speed us all into a glorious green future? Joining me on the programme, motoring journalist Quentin Wilson. Quentin, how lovely to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. So I'm looking at an article today by Ross Clark in the Mail. It says, why your electric car is nowhere near as green as you think. Is Ross right about this?
Okay, so this is one of a blizzard, as I'm sure you're aware, Vanessa, of anti-EV articles that have been going on for the last couple of months. So much so that the entire motor industry have said, whoa, where is all this coming from? Why is there this concerted campaign to unseat electric cars? But look, let's just go through some of the points Ross makes about the not being green. If you look at the amount of critical minerals that are used to make batteries, which he claims is really heavy, globally it's about, I don't know, let's be really generous, it's 30 million tons of critical minerals extracted out of the ground. If you compare that to fossil fuel oil, that's 4 billion tons every year. So the idea that the little electric car with its batteries is more polluting in terms of extraction than the fossil fuel industry is kind of, frankly, a bit laughable. There's another part of that story that says the tires, generate all these particulates. And this was a story that was doing the rounds in one broadsheet a couple of weeks ago. And only this week, Leeds University, who were quoted in the report, said, hang on a minute, we weren't involved in writing this story. This is research taken from a paper we did 2 years ago, and we want you to print a retraction. So I'm saying, look, there is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about electric cars, but we need to be accurate when we report it. We need to say, okay, I've done my sums, I've looked at research, I've checked as much up-to-date information as I can, and I will write a fair, balanced, and light and shade story, but not just make the electric car the cause of all our woes.
But Quentin, why is there, as you say, this big push against electric cars? Because there was a time, I think, don't know if you'll concur, but I think there was a time when almost everything written about electric cars was incredibly positive, and it felt as if, that was absolutely the future and the way forward, and you'd be crazy to buy anything else and, put your name on the waiting list and hurry up. And yes, it seemed really expensive, but my gosh, it was the least you could do for the planet and for yourself, and all those good things that seemed to flow out of the name electric cars. Then suddenly, bang, there's been this kind of backlash. Why is there?
Well, look, you're absolutely right, Vanessa. And at the stage when I was driving around in my little electric cars that did 50 miles to one charge, people were just, smiling indulgently and saying, yeah, they're good guy. And then they started to sell in numbers. And the world's most popular car today, Vanessa, is a Tesla Model Y. Not just the most popular electric car, but the most popular car, full stop, in the world, has overtaken the Toyota Corolla. So when that happens, vested interests start to get worried, don't they? And they start to push back. And that's why we've seen more and more of this stuff, which is casting the electric car as the Beelzebub of the roads and blaming it for collapsing multi-story car parks and collapsing bridges. And there was a story even that we're going to lose all our front gardens in our houses in the UK because of home chargers. So we just need to get a sense of relativity. And I think the most important thing to say to your viewers is, look, they're not for everybody. And I understand that you're doubting about them, but do we really want to carry on buying gas and oil from monopolistic regimes who have weaponized energy prices and will carry on doing so? Or do we want to break that cycle of dependency and look at alternative technologies that can clean our air, give us energy independence and cheaper energy for everybody? That's the goal of electric cars.
I mean, in this article, it even accuses electric cars of causing deeper and more pugnacious potholes. Is that true? Can that be true?
No, I've just said that there was a Leeds University report that was supposed to underpin that research. And Leeds University had put their hand up and said, no, we did not get involved in this story. And the journalists wrote it themselves and quoted a report from 2 years ago. I mean, can you give me proof that electric cars are wearing out the roads and causing all these potholes? And I think it's really wrong to blame an electric car or electric cars in general for an already existing pothole crisis on our roads. And it's just another thing that's been used to beat us up tell people one of the reasons that we shouldn't buy them. And the thing is, if we carry on doing this, and I'm talking broadly to the media here, that if you do this, then people won't buy them, and car manufacturers will just up sticks and move to countries where they will.
And this kind of uprising of bad feeling directed at electric cars, do we know whether that's unique to us here in the United Kingdom or whether it's happening in other countries as well?
It's going to be happening in America soon, because Biden has allocated $390 billion to support electric cars, and obviously there are vested interests over there, huge vested interests, who don't want this to happen. But there are other countries, China, way ahead of everybody else, Norway, huge adoption of electric cars. So it's going to take time, and I say to people, just look. Go with it. You've got 12 years before you have to buy a totally electric car. You can still buy a hybrid, which you don't need to charge. You can fuel it at a petrol station. So let's not panic. And the infrastructure is developing really fast. And in that report, it said that, the emissions from power stations. Well, I looked today, and I mean, it's nearly 40% renewables came into the grid today. And we used, I think, 2% coal. So all these things are changing, and just talk to me in context. Give me light and shade. Give me balance. Give me fairness.
Quentin, thank you very much indeed. Very sadly, we've come to the end of the show.